Hi babes, my name is Kellyanne and I decided to come back and show my face with y'all on Galentine's Day, a day for platonic love, not just for gals or girls, but for all friendships that are nourishing and supportive and just invoke that power of love without having to go to all the romantic lengths and flowers and chocolates and that kind of bullshit. But I wanted to come back to y'all on this day so that we can talk about love in a different framework, in a different setting. Because typically we think about love in terms of how we received love when we were younger and what that looked like when we were growing up as a child, as well as all of the times in friendships, in friend relationships during our youth and growing up, as we developed our brains as adults. We took all of those malleable, complicated friend relationship and relationship modalities and experiences and examples of what love has looked like. And we have all formed our own different Frankenstein version of what love looks like, which is why nobody really understands love. But something that we all do understand, which is a tool that I'm going to give y'all so that you can put every ounce of love that you receive through a filter to know for sure whether or not it is benefiting you and nourishing you and supporting you, or it's triggering old traumatic wounds that, however wonderful the person in your life or the relationship in your life can be at its best, at its worst, it is toxic and therefore intoxicating. We get really addicted to some toxic things because it helps us to kind of numb out and get distracted from other more important things in our lives. I think we've all been there before in a toxic relationship, whether romantic or platonic, whether in a friendship or in a romantic partnership. We've all been in at least one of those toxic relationships where all we can do is talk about that person and think about them and complain about them or defend them to our friends as we talk about all of the issues that are there. Those kinds of relationships serve as destructive distractions from the real shit in our lives and from the relationships that we go running to complain about the toxic relationship. All of the people in our lives who support us through those kinds of relationships are the people that we should actually be giving more of our attention and more of our love to. However, it's the toxicity that keeps us intoxicated. And in order to identify those and to filter those kind of wounding relationships out is to identify not just feelings of love, not just whether or not love is being created and fostered in that space. Because, like I said, love is malleable. Love takes a lot of different forms and kind of confuses us when it comes to really accepting who is allowed into our life and who is not. So this tool will help us create boundaries around what we accept and what we disavow as well. This tool is respect. I've talked about this before. I know that I've mentioned how love is so hard to pin down that we need to use respect as a how do I call this thing? As like a I'm thinking of like whatever you get in football when you get like a touchdown or not a touchdown, a first down and they move the flag or whatever. Anyway, indication maybe is what I'm going for. Respect is the indicator, I guess we'll use that we all can use for holding love in our hands with integrity. It's like love is that weird shape that can be anything, but respect are those hands that are always there saying, with integrity, I am going to hold this up. I am going to uphold this, or I am going to form a container around it so that everything that exists within this relationship, within this situation wherein we are trying to create love and foster and sustain supportive, appreciative love. Respect is that container that allows healthy boundaries, that allows trust, that allows healing instead of wounding. Respect shows up with integrity. Respect doesn't change. Respect is not confusing. Do you know what I'm saying? Respect, you know what respect looks like, and you know what respect does not look like. Respect does not change like love changes. Like our ideas of love are always changing. Or how we receive love, or how we give love are always different. We don't have respect languages. We have love languages because there are so many different modalities. We don't have respect languages because respect shows up the same all the time. Respect shows up as being honest even when it's difficult, because respect knows that giving love to others means giving them a full idea of how to show up in love. Respect is for people that you don't love. Respect is for people that you may not have a lot of respect for, and that shows up as politeness and niceness. trying to be socially acceptable in your way of treating other people, which in essence is a form of love. It's a form of self-love, of like, I'm not going to terrorize myself by trying to be friends with this person, but I am going to love myself enough to know if I want to be a person of integrity and I want to be a person that other people can respect, then I need to show up with respect, and I need to be the one to keep that ball rolling and to keep that moving. So when you're examining the littlest of relationships with coworkers and acquaintances to the biggest of relationships with family members and best friendships that have spanned the course of lifetimes, or even a romantic partnership that is brand spanking new, and you're trying to approach those territories of like, how does physical touch feel for you? How does showing up feel for you? How does spending time together feel for you? Those are all, like I said, love languages that need the respect filter. The respect filter is going to help you decide whether or not a person showing up and touching you more than feels comfortable for you, to let that person know, I love that you love me in your own way, but I need to filter it, because what respect feels like for me is not being touched quite as much. Does that make sense? I hope that you can use this for your platonic relationships, for your galentines, for your valentines, and for all of the tines in between. Because you deserve all the love that you desire, and you deserve to be respected in those spaces where love occurs.